Currency redenomination. Should zeros be dropped before or after a rate change? Have you ever woken up to the news that currency exchange rates have shifted? It's an exciting moment when you hear that your country's currency might be gaining value. But what if that excitement is quickly overshadowed by the complexities of a redenomination? That's exactly what we'll discuss in this article. Whether zeros should be dropped from a currency before or after a rate change, and how this decision can impact your financial future. Understanding this concept is crucial if you're navigating an ever-changing financial landscape. So, let's break it down, step by step. What does dropping zeros mean? Some countries remove zeros from their currency as a way to simplify transactions and stabilize their economy. This process is called redenomination. It seems straightforward. If a country's currency changes from 1,000 units to 1 unit, it might look like a positive adjustment. However, the key question is, what happens if the exchange rate changes before or after this drop? The timing of redenomination is more significant than most people realize. Let's explore why. 1. Timing matters. Imagine waking up and discovering that your currency has strengthened overnight. You feel wealthier until you realize that the government has also removed several zeros from the currency. Does this actually make you richer? Consider this example. Before redenomination, a loaf of bread costs 1,000 units. After redenomination, the same loaf costs 1 unit. At first glance, it looks like a great deal. However, if your income remains the same and prices are adjusted accordingly, your purchasing power doesn't improve. The numbers may have changed, but the actual value of your money remains constant. This confusion is why the timing of dropping zeros, whether before or after a rate change, can influence how people perceive their financial situation. If done before an exchange rate adjustment, people might mistakenly believe they are wealthier than they actually are. The real impact of redenomination history provides plenty of examples of countries that have removed zeros from their currency due to economic instability. Take Venezuela and Zimbabwe, where hyperinflation forced governments to redenominate their currencies. In Zimbabwe, during one of the worst inflation crises in history, the government removed multiple zeros from their currency multiple times, yet prices continued to rise at an unsustainable pace. In Venezuela, the government slashed zeros from the bolivar, but citizens still faced extreme inflation, and purchasing power remained weak. In both cases, people expected that removing zeros would improve their financial well-being, but the reality was different. The economy adjusted, prices changed, and salaries remained the same, leaving citizens in the same financial position as before. The key lesson? Redenomination changes how numbers appear, but does not change actual value unless accompanied by economic improvements. 3. The confusion factor. One of the biggest risks of redenomination is the psychological effect it has on people. If you're not closely monitoring financial news, sudden changes in currency structure can be misleading. Prices may seem lower, but if salaries and expenses adjust proportionally, there's no real benefit. People might make financial decisions based on incorrect assumptions about their new purchasing power. Businesses may need time to adapt to pricing changes, leading to temporary confusion in the market. This is why education and transparency are crucial. If a government decides to redenominate its currency, it should ensure that citizens fully understand the process to avoid widespread confusion. 4. How the media shapes perception. News reports often present currency redenomination as a sign of economic recovery. But does it actually benefit the average citizen? That depends. If the economy is strong and stable, redenomination might help simplify transactions and improve confidence in the currency. If the economy is unstable, redenomination alone will not fix deeper financial issues, and people may still struggle with inflation and high living costs. In countries with strong currencies like the US dollar, redenomination is unnecessary because inflation is controlled, and the currency remains stable. However, for economies facing persistent instability, redenomination is often seen as a last resort rather than a true solution. 5. How to stay informed and prepare for currency changes. If you live in a country considering redenomination or experiencing major currency fluctuations, staying informed is essential. Here's how you can protect yourself. Follow reliable financial news sources to track policy changes and exchange rate fluctuations. Join financial communities or forums where people discuss currency developments. Ask critical questions about how these changes impact your salary. These shifts. By staying proactive, you can make better financial decisions rather than reacting to sudden surprises. 6. Understanding floating exchange rates. Another important concept in currency valuation is the float. A floating exchange rate means a country allows market forces to determine the value of its currency rather than fixing it to another currency. Countries with floating currencies, like the US or European nations, experience regular fluctuations in exchange rates, which reflect economic conditions. Countries with fixed exchange rates, like some Middle Eastern nations, keep their currency stable against a benchmark like the US dollar. A floating currency provides flexibility, but also brings unpredictability. If you're dealing with foreign exchange, traveling, or running a business, these fluctuations can impact your financial planning. 7. How banks and businesses adapt to floating exchange. Rates. With floating exchange rates, banks must train their managers to quickly respond to fluctuations. Unlike the past, when many exchange rates were fixed, today's financial markets require constant monitoring and adjustments. Banks train their employees to handle market changes, ensuring customers receive accurate exchange rate information. Businesses must plan ahead to protect themselves from sudden rate shifts. Some companies use hedging strategies to minimize risks associated with currency fluctuations. As a consumer, it's crucial to stay aware of how these changes affect your spending power. Whether you're sending money abroad, traveling, or making international purchases. Final thoughts. Are you prepared for currency changes? Currency redenomination can be useful in stabilizing an economy, but only when done correctly and with public awareness. The key takeaway is that removing zeros does not increase purchasing power. It only changes how numbers appear. To protect yourself from financial surprises, stay informed about redenomination policies and exchange rate changes. Understand the difference between nominal changes and real purchasing power. Discuss financial strategies with experts to navigate economic shifts wisely. What do you think about these changes? Are you concerned about currency fluctuations or excited about potential economic improvements? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this article helpful, don't forget to share it with others who might benefit from this information. Stay informed, stay prepared, and keep making smart financial choices.